Hey there folks, welcome to Groovy Geeky. Today we're looking at a vastly underrated moment in television. A moment where a show, struggling for respect, took a direct shot at the government and the superficiality of insincere faux happiness, creating a story that remains one of the darkest in the series' history, and also one of its most misunderstood and unappreciated stories. This is Doctor Who. This is The Happiness Patrol. Okay, so before we get started, Sylvester McCoy is by far my favourite Doctor. His comedic timing was flawless and surpassed only by the gravitas and mystery he brought to the role. After a rough initial year as the Doctor, with Time and the Rani and Delta and the Bannermen being two of the all-time worst Doctor Who stories in my opinion, McCoy's second season in the role kicked things off with the absolutely perfect Remembrance of the Daleks, a story which hinted at the Doctor being far more than we suspected, whilst the Daleks returned to their space Nazi roots in an excellent story focusing on the theme of racism. But we're not talking about that story. Oh no. We're talking today about The Happiness Patrol. Written by Graham Curry, The Happiness Patrol is a seemingly simple story, with the Doctor arriving on a planet, noticing it's controlled by a dictator, and liberating it overnight. However, this framework allows the story to be so much more, reflecting on the political themes of the time, as well as something much more thought-provoking, that we must embrace not just happiness, but also the unhappiness and sadness in our lives. And as someone who has suffered from depression throughout my life, the hollow superficial happiness that is forced upon the citizens of Terra Alpha reminds me so much of all the times people have told me to just cheer up. Going more into the story, the Doctor and Ace arrive on the planet Terra Alpha, governed by Helen A, who wants everybody to be happy. How does she do this? Bright pink rules and death squads, dressed up like ghoulish streetwalkers, who remove anybody who is unhappy to be executed in the most delicious way possible at the hands of the Candyman, a vile robot whose design is clearly based on Bertie Bassett. The Doctor starts a rebellion involving the planet's working class indigenous population, called drones, and they eventually destroy the Candyman, take over factories, and then liberate the planet itself from Helen A's clutches. The last we see of her, weeping as her precious pet Fifi has died and she experiences real, genuine emotion in the form of grief. Helen A is clearly based on Margaret Thatcher, who was the British Prime Minister at the time and was known for her fondness of authoritarian practices, amongst many things. And the drones of Terra Alpha recall the striking miners who suffered at the hands of those very practices during the 80s. This carries on the political undertones of Doctor Who, which has, throughout its history, had a loose left-wing undercurrent, but in particular the political themes of the series under the reigns of script editor Andrew Cartmel. who is open about his intention about using the show to satirise government policies, seeing Thatcher as a bigger monster than those that the Doctor faces. The Happiness Patrol also focuses on forced happiness, the notion that we always need to present ourselves as happy and optimistic regardless of what is happening in our lives, as well as the fact that those in power are incapable of understanding the grievances of others. This kind of faux happiness gained something of cultural notoriety in the 80s as the UK drifted towards having a service-based economy. People were having to adopt overly positive personas whilst at work in the name of professionalism, including the dreaded Pan Am smile. If I had to point out something that the Happiness Patrol says perfectly though, it's that the Doctor's revolution is non-violent, and that truth, inwards thinking and honesty are the ways to defeat fascism. Just check out this following scene where the Doctor confronts a man who is about to shoot him down.
It's alright, I'll have him. Just let him get a little closer. Wait, he's not a drone. He's fair game, and you're headed that way. Alright, come on. Come and say hello.
Hello. Go back. And use the gun.
Yes, I imagine he will. You like guns, don't you?
This is a specialised weapon. It's designed for roof duty, designed for long range. I've never used one up close before.
Let him go.
No!
No. In fact, let him come a little closer.
So you are.
Why? Scared? Why should you be scared? You're the one with the gun.
That's right.
And you like guns, don't you?
He'll kill you.
Of course he will. That's what guns are for. Pull a trigger, end a life. Simple, isn't it?
Yes.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes.
A life killing life.
Who are you?
Shut up. Why don't you do it then? Look me in the eye. Pull the trigger. End my life.
No,
Why not?
I can't.
Why not?
I don't know.
You don't, do you? Throw away your gun.
Despite the excellent story and undertones, the Happiness Patrol is often dismissed by those who don't like Doctor Who as an example of its cheapness and cheesiness, with the villains being a key talking point. The Candyman was, in my opinion, a great idea, something so sweet, literally, and creepy that it comes across as really menacing and grotesque. But to the show's detractors, it's just a lame idea and a rip-off of a popular sweet mascot. Helen A and her cohorts are delightfully camp, which, while it does give the story something of a cheap pantomime feel, really reflects the foppish attitudes of the upper-class Conservative Party, and also adds a slight light-heartedness to what could have ended up being a really miserable, dry and cynical story. So, as you may have guessed, I really enjoy the Happiness Patrol, and think it's really underrated, not just as a Doctor Who story, but as a little point in television history, at a time when science fiction was either dying out in favour of more realistic dramas, or trying to be super serious. We got a Pinhead precise parody with some solid moments, all wrapped up in an entertaining bow, and you know what? Doctor Who would only get better the following year, before it went in hiatus for almost 2 decades. But more on that at a later time. This has been Groovy Geeky, and I hope that this episode has made you happy. I'm glad you're happy. subscribing would only make you happier. Bye! Thanks for watching this episode. If you'd like to see more episodes on cool, groovy, geeky, gamey, musicy stuff, then subscribe to the channel and ring that bell. And if you want to be a groovy cat, leave a comment and a like, and I'll love you. Bye!